All right, everyone, welcome back. Josh Beatar and Alex Goldman here for From the Stands, and today we're very luckily joined by the newly UFC minted welterweight Kevin Jousset. Kevin, thank you very much for giving us the time today, man. I know it's a little bit late over in New Zealand, but we sincerely appreciate your time, man. First things first, I know you just met up with USADA, but aside from that, how have things been?
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. Yeah, it's been good, man. Since the fight, I took a bit of time off. Just traveled to Gold Coast for a couple of days with families and went back to New Zealand. And yeah, I've been back to training. My body is feeling good and stuff. So looking forward to fight again soon, hopefully. So I just want to stay busy, stay fit. So yeah, no waste of time.
Of course. That was actually first thing I wanted to sort of touch on. Was it was a little bit, 3 weeks over since your debut win at UFC 293, which was a massive achievement, especially getting the finish as well. That was unbelievable. First thing I wanted to sort of ask you was, how have these last few weeks been? I know I did see that you were here on the Gold Coast. You were in Byron Bay. You spent a little bit of time here, and then back to New Zealand. So how did you sort of enjoy that victory and get to celebrate your victory and enjoy that time off as well?
Man, that was weird. The first few days were very weird because the fight, as you said, was quite fast. Like I won on the first round, and I almost couldn't put myself in the holiday mode because I didn't really feel I fought. Like some of my fights when I fought and I finished, like my body was destroyed and I had to take some time off, And this one, it took me a few days to actually relax and be like, oh yeah, fuck, like that's done now. Let's have a good time. Let's not think about it and just relax, So it took me like 4 days. But eventually I understood that's time to have a bit of time off and relax. But yeah, when I don't train, I just miss it. Literally. So after a few days, I was back running and lifting and stuff like that.
For sure.
But yeah, it's been good. It's been good.
Yeah, well deserved. So, Kevin, I wanted to know, how did your martial arts journey begin? How did you first become involved or introduced to martial arts?
I started a long time ago. I was 4 years old and I've done judo. My parents just put me into it because I was quite active and I had a bit too much energy when I was a kid at home. So they just tried to make me do something else and not spending all my energy at home. So it was probably a bit easier for them. And I've done judo since since I was a young kid, and I've just done it for most of my life, and eventually got into MMA later on.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely. Kevin, after that fight with Kiefer in Sydney, you called out Ian Garry, which I think was a good call out. Considering the ties to Ireland there and Conor McGregor as well. He's been since booked with, obviously, the fight with Vicente Luque at UFC 296. The question I want to ask you, that now that fight with Garry, for the meantime at least, is on hold. Who is next in line for you as a potential opponent? Someone that you look at that you would really like to get in and compete with?
I'm not sure, but I would love to be on the same card though. UFC 296, December 16th, for me, the time is just perfect. It gives me time to do a world training camp again and be extra fit, extra strong. And feeling very good. So I would love to fight on the same card, especially because at the card was his welterweight title. So I would love to eyes those guys, like see what they look like. And yeah, just like having a look at all those welterweights. And who I couldn't mind less, to be honest. I don't really mind. My manager already sent my name to the UFC guy. To the matchmakers. Whoever they give me, I'm happy, like, as I said before, I'm not here to choose opponents. I don't mind. I'm in the UFC because I believe I'm one of the best guys in the world, and whoever they give me, I'll be ready to fight them.
Would you have any interest in running it back with Della Maddalena, as that was a fight that, was somewhat unfinished due to the doctor stoppage, or is that sort of a fight that you've moved on from?
No, I didn't move from it. I definitely won it, that's for sure, 100%. But I think that's the same, like Ian Garry or Jack Della at this stage. They are both ranked fighters. They've both showed that they belong to the top 10, which is great for them. And I guess for me, it's going to take a few more fights before I can fight any top 10 guys. But as soon as I'm in the top 10, top 15, if they give me Jack Della, I'm more than happy. Like, that's definitely a fight I want. Later on in my career, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I know for a fact it's going to happen eventually, 100%.
Awesome. I definitely want to see that fight. I would love to, especially the ties, with the Australian MMA. Seeing that in the UFC one day would be very special. On that, Kevin, I know you have you're very proud Frenchman, and obviously that rings true, and I love seeing that, someone who's proud of their culture as well. The UFC now is coming to Paris. It looks like it's going to be every year. They came last year in September, and again this year. It looks like that'll be a regular occurrence for you. What would you like to do more? What fills you, what makes you more happy coming to compete here in Australia, where you earned your stripes and you started your amateur career and had your whole professional career here, or heading back home and competing on that UFC Paris card next year?
That's hard to choose, That's hard to choose. I definitely want to do both. Well, now I fought in Australia. It's been a blast.
Yeah.
I would love to fight in France in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, I think for me, it was a good opportunity to fight in Australia first because, as you said, I fought here my world career. Yeah. So people knew me here. But in France, I've never fought over there.
Yeah.
So having a few UFC fights before I get to fight in France is going to be much better for me because people will know me much more.
Yeah,
and I will have way more attention around me. So, yeah, but it's hard to choose. Again, like I want to fight in France someday, 100%. Hopefully that's next year.
Yeah,
and let's see. But yeah, I want both.
Yeah, awesome.
Kevin, one thing that we saw from you, all the week of UFC, was that you were very, very calm, and that's not something that we always see with fighters making their UFC debut. Did sort of having that calm energy, did that, come from your experience competing in legitimate organizations like Hex and Eternal? Or did you just feel at that point that you truly belonged in the UFC, so you didn't maybe have as many nerves about making your debut in the UFC?
I think it's a bit of a mix of all, to be honest, and just competing. I've been competing in judo my whole life. I have hundreds and hundreds of matches in judo. Like competing is something I've been doing for a long time, for most of my life. Really, I don't even remember the first time I competed. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's just normal to like compete in front of people and having attention around me and stuff like that. And obviously, fighting in Australia in the best organizations on Hex and beating some of the best guys in the country, and also training at CKB with some of the best fighters in the world just proves me that I'm one of the best myself, So once you know that and you believe in yourself, it doesn't matter if you fight on Hex, if you fight on a small show, if you fight in the UFC, a fight is a fight. The dude in front of you is going to try to take your head off anyway. And same for you, Like, I think for me, I just understood through the years and cameras and the crowd and the public and all the stuff. It's just noise. What really matters is winning the fights. And that's the only thing I can really focus on,
Yeah, definitely. Kevin, last couple of questions from us, man. I know it's late over there, so we won't keep you too long. But the welterweight division in the UFC, I think, is having a bit of a resurgence. I think there was a time, maybe the last 2 years, where it sort of dipped a little bit. We saw a lot of rematches and things weren't as interesting. But I think now it's starting to become a much more interesting division again. You've got young guys like yourself, guys like Della Maddalena, Garry, Shavkat Rakhmonov is a great talent at 170 pounds. For you, I want to sort of know about your goal setting and how long ahead you look, because obviously I think every fighter wants to become UFC champion. I think that's definitely the goal. For you, do you sit there right now and do you have a pathway lined out to how you get to the UFC welterweight title, or are you just taking it one fight at a time for the moment?
That's a hard one. Yes, the end goal is definitely to be the champ eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But I think often we think we can achieve more than we can in a short amount of time.
Correct. Yeah.
But we don't realize how much we can achieve in a longer period of time. And we often think we can't achieve that much. But if we think 4, 5, 6 years time from now, I can achieve whatever the hell I want. And that's more my mindset,
Yeah.
I wanna be busy. I wanna fight as much as I can. I wanna get better along the way. And I wanna be the champ eventually. I don't know how long it's gonna take. I just know that when I want something, I'm stubborn enough to just keep going until it happens. So if it takes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, that's so good. I'm still young in the sport. I love training. I love getting better. So hopefully it doesn't take too long. So I make money soon enough. But let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last question from us today, Kevin. One thing we saw with City Kickboxing, and that we've seen, for the last few years now, is that they win as a team and they lose as a team. That seems to be a motto that, you guys really display, on all these fight cards. But Is that sort of team dynamic, is that what makes City Kickboxing, the perfect home for you? As obviously, a martial artist of your level, you have a lot of options in terms of where you could go train. But is it that team dynamic that makes City Kickboxing the best home for you right now?
Yeah, 100%. The dynamic of the team is a huge part of it for sure. I really love the thing, but I think what I love the most is more like the human beings I train with. Like it's just great people, and for me, being around great people is a good thing. You just need to be surrounded with good people and train hard, and everything gonna be alright. It's not only training with good people and having the right mindset. It's more like having good human beings who actually care about you and you care about them, and you are here for the right reason. You are not here just because it can bring you something. You know what I mean? That's more like a proper friendship, and so relationships are honest. So yeah, I think that's the main thing for me, and that's the main reason why I train here full time.
For sure. Well, Kevin, that's all we have for you today, man. We don't want to keep you too long. We know it's getting a bit late over there, but we really appreciate you giving us some time, man. Wishing you all the best, and we can't wait to see what the next fight is going to be for you. I know that we're both looking forward to seeing what you have to do in that welterweight division.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, man.
Cheers.